Welcome back, everyone. Thank you for joining us. My name is Sarah Ryan. I'm the Senior Project Officer with the Open team. I'm really pleased to see you all back here for our final session of what has been an absolutely incredible Open Symposium. I will be your host for this next session alongside my colleague, Catherine Hutchins, who I'll introduce to you properly in a moment. Now, before we get going, I would like to first start this session by acknowledging land. I am on the lands of the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nations and pay my respects to elders past and present, any Aboriginal colleagues with us in the audience, and the Aboriginal families and children that we all work and walk alongside. So, as always, a bit of housekeeping before we get going. We will have time for questions at the end of each presentation. So please put your questions in the chat and we'll ask our presenters at the end. Do keep your mics on mute throughout so we don't interrupt our presenters, noting that this session will be recorded. You're welcome to keep your cameras on, as presenters often love to see the faces they're talking to, but we understand if you prefer to turn your cameras off. If you have any technical issues, try leaving and coming back into the room. That often solves the problem. Otherwise, please contact the centre via the number on the screen now. This symposium would not have been possible without the generous support of our sponsors: VACA, Anglicare Victoria, CSNet, Berry Street, Impact Initiative, and WCIG. We've been so grateful to have all of our sponsors on board this year and actually hear from a number of them across the week. So today we've heard some brilliant presentations from Project Rocket, Yarra City Council and 54 Reasons. Dan Donoghue from Project Rocket referenced in his opening presentation that our theme this year is Transforming Futures. This theme has been prominent across all of the week, but especially today, where we've heard about handing over power to our future leaders, our young people. Now, I will hand over to one of our young people, Catherine Hutchins. Catherine is a project support officer with the Open team and bravely put up her hand to facilitate today's session. Catherine, the floor is yours.
Hi, everyone. It is an absolute pleasure to be co-facilitating this session today. I am so excited, as Sarah mentioned, a young person myself, to hear, I guess, about some of the innovative and quite creative ways that different sector orgs and programs are engaging children and young people to help build that community connection. So yeah, really looking forward to a great session today. We have 3 insightful presentations lined up for you. First, from RMIT and Afri-Aus Care, the Junior Rhinos, a co-designed primary prevention approach for young people at risk of entering the justice system. Next, a presentation from Junction Support Services called Diverge, the chance to take a different path. And finally, from Blue Light Victoria, unlocking potential, inspiring, engaging, and equipping young Victorians. So it's set to be a great session, and I'm really looking forward to it. But for our very first, the Junior Rhinos, a co-designed primary prevention approach for young people at risk of entering the justice system. We have Dr. Sarah Williams and Dr. Rachel Goff from RMIT, and Solberg and Doza Luca and Abraham Quall from Afri-Aus Care. Dr. Sarah is a lecturer in social work and human services at RMIT. Sarah's research focuses on action research with young people in culturally diverse communities. Dr. Rachel is a lecturer in social work and human services at RMIT. Rachel's research focuses on participatory and emancipatory research methodologies and with particular interest in community-based social changes. Selva Gondoza Luca, the founder and CEO of Afri-Aus Care Incorporated and co-founder of the successful Black Rhinos basketball program and soccer club. She is a multiple award winner and has been awarded the City of Greater Dandenong Citizen of the Year for 2021, which is very cool. Abraham is an Associate Research Fellow and PhD candidate at the Alfred Deakin Institute at Deakin University. His research explores the post-settlement challenges of African Australians with a focus on justice system contact. So there's a wealth of knowledge with us today, and I cannot wait to hear what you all have to say. So I'll pass over to you, team. Thank you.
Thank you so very much for the warm welcome. My name is Rachel, and I am so thrilled to be presenting with my colleagues from RMIT and from Afri-Aus Care this morning. So we'll be presenting on the Junior Rhinos, which was a co-designed partnership between Afri-Aus Care and the Afri-Aus Care community and researchers at RMIT. The Junior Rhinos basketball program is designed as a primary prevention approach for young people at risk of entering the justice system. This project was undertaken on the lands of the Boonwurrung people of the Eastern Kulin Nations, and RMIT University also acknowledges the lands on which we conduct our business. As a brief overview of today's presentation, we'll be providing some context into the causes and the pathways of young people into and out of the justice system. We'll also be providing an overview of this co-designed research with Afri-Aus Care and the Afri-Aus Care community, and sharing some of our learnings from the evaluation that we undertook after the project's design and implementation. Pass over to Abraham.
Yeah, prior to developing the program, and so we had a clear understanding of what were some of the causes for offending within African communities, more specifically African refugee communities. So we saw that post-settlement challenges, so the challenges that people experience when they're adapting to a new country, played a big part. Social disadvantage. A lot of the young people are from low-income households. But one key thing that we thought we could provide some support around was educational support. A lot of the young people from African refugee backgrounds that end up in contact with the justice system experience a lot of educational challenges early on. So they fall behind in school. Sometimes it's often the case that there is limited parental support, and that's no fault of the parents. I think adapting to a new country is quite challenging. Having low English language capacity and finding it challenging to navigate systems and services means that that young person from that household sometimes can't achieve their full potential. So they'll end up lacking support at school due to the challenges that the family or the parents experience. What we thought we could do was provide a support around that, an early intervention support that could address some of the educational challenges. And what we've found, and we'll talk about it in the later parts of the presentation, is that if you can improve the outcomes for a young person in school and address some of the educational challenges, you can almost change their life. So our project was all about strength-based pathways out of the justice system, and we saw education and early intervention as one of those strength-based pathways. But I'll pass on to one of our next speakers.
Selba. Oh, Selby, your mute button is on.
Thank you. In order to get full information on how this project could run, we thought of co-designing university and also the community, because you have to go to the grassroots. And especially the African people, maybe you have heard about Ubuntu. It's an African philosophy, I am because we are or you are. So it was for the university to come and speak to the women themselves, making sure that they understand the challenges that African young people are facing. But in doing this, we had to break the stigma around the African people. Mainly, what we saw that if a child is struggling, it could be a parent who is struggling as well. And in order to do this, we did apply, or we do apply, the positive change model. It's understanding exactly what a person is going through and relating in storytelling. And in doing this, the women, they were able to discuss the things that were happening in their own homes, and even inviting more children and grandchildren. And it was so easy for the university to start putting the information together. And you know what? Indeed, we came up with a great project, and we continue to do it because it's by the people, for the people, and run by the people. And the university actually helped us by looking at other research and also comparing to what we are doing. So the thing is bringing that African flavor into Australia to support these young people so that they cannot go through the rails. And I'm telling you, the young people are doing so well in this program. And we are always proud every Sunday to see the grandmothers and the mothers, the 3 generations working together to support the young people. And I would say, touch wood, the kids are doing well. They haven't fallen into those traps yet. And we continue to work with RMIT. And on this, I also have to thank Vic Health for the seed funding, because it all started with them. Now we are continuing with the Department of Health and Brian and Davis. It's a collective approach. Thank you. The next one.
Thank you, Selva. And so now, Abraham, we'll talk a little bit about the existing Black Rhinos basketball program.
So with the program, we thought we'd use something that most young people usually will engage with. While we knew that our ultimate end goal was to improve their educational outcomes, we had to do something to engage the young people, but to engage the young people in a meaningful way. We were delivering the Black Rhinos basketball program already, which is a crime prevention program for young kids between the ages of 16 and as high as 30. But that wasn't enough, because with that program, we felt we were only getting kids once they had ended up in the justice system. While we're still able to provide support to them, we thought it'd be a lot better to get young people before they enter the justice system, before the challenges that their families and themselves were experiencing took a toll on them. So we designed the Junior Rhinos program, which is a basketball-based program that aims to improve educational outcomes for young people. Why do we use basketball? A lot of the young people highlighted that basketball was something that they could connect to. Basketball was something that they enjoyed. And we thought we'd use basketball as a tool to engage the young people, but beyond that, provide them, but not just them, and provide their families as well with the support that they needed to thrive and achieve really meaningful outcomes in Australia. So the program is set up in this way that young people get to engage in basketball. They're provided with homework support, but the key part is that they're provided with mentors, people that they can connect with, people that understand them. And most of our mentors are from a similar background, people that understand them, have walked in their shoes. So when young people do experience challenges, they can lean on that mentor, and that mentor can provide a pathway out. But that mentor can also provide support while they are experiencing some of the challenges and ongoing challenges that young people within African refugee communities experience. Next slide.
So, as part of this project that was generously funded by Vic Health, you can see here on the slide our research partners. So RMIT University, as the research team, we were guided by Afri-Aus Care. So Afri-Aus Care ultimately had that governance and oversight over the research activities that we did as part of the research. We were also very fortunate to have the input and involvement of a range of community partners, ranging from Victoria Police all the way through to other researchers from other academic institutions who specialise in crime prevention in young people, as well as local councils. So you can see that we've got a range of stakeholders there that provided such solid support to the project. So the partnership between RMIT University and Afri-Aus Care is a long-standing partnership that was really established out of student placement and field education. And it was from that existing relationship between SELBA and Afri-Aus Care and our field education team that this project came to fruition. So I'd just like to play a short little video. The program, since its launch and the evaluation, has gained a fair bit of media traction. And this video from ABC really sums up the program.
School's out, but not for these kids. They're opting to stay late and get some more work done with the help of a group of mentors.
The mentors are really good since they started this program. I've been understanding the work more and getting better grades.
I know it's something that I would wanted when I was in school, and so it's really cool to be able to impact their lives in that way.
This is one part of a program run for and by members of Melbourne's African Australian community. It combines mentors, lessons, family, and basketball. On Sundays, some of the students shoot hoops.
I want a cousin, friend, yeah, and siblings.
What's been your favourite part?
Probably, I like math now. I used to really hate math in school, but coming here, I've learned way more, and I now like math way better.
After basketball, the kids and many of their mothers gather at Afri-Aus Care, the NGO behind the program, where it's back to the books.
We're creating a community, a place for young people from African backgrounds to feel connected, but to be supported. Well, 7 times 7.
What are you doing?
Connection is key because the cohort that we work with are African refugees, and they tend to be isolated.
Just to come here and learn, like if you're struggling with homework, you can get help and support from people that are here.
The program was co-designed with RMIT University. The researchers there also ran an evaluation that found young people were better engaging with school and the community.
It's simply been outstanding, some of the findings. And having worked with sport-based youth development programs previously, usually it takes quite a lot longer to see the same results. I'm a single mum, I don't have the time, I don't have the educational background to be able to help.
They're looking to secure funding for a broader longitudinal study, but say the program should be expanded.
We feel those same outcomes could be really beneficial to other communities as well.
While the children finish off their homework, the mothers are preparing a meal.
It is very important to involve the mothers or the grandmothers in the tutoring for the young people. By doing that, you increase a sense of belonging within the family instead of what has been happening is intergenerational conflict, intergenerational trauma.
Yeah, you want a salad? Want salad?
Afri-Aus Care also helps women gain employment and improve their English skills, runs sports teams, and works with young people in prison.
With what we see in the media, there's a lot of focus and attention on African young people and how badly they're doing. It's actually the opposite. There are a lot of African young people doing really well. There's a small percentage of young African people committing offences. We still need to support them, but we do need more early intervention programs to ensure that we can provide better support to young people so they can have better life outcomes in the future.
This program will keep running for at least another 3 years, thanks to funding from the Education Department and a charity called Brian M. Davis. Getting the money to keep it going was a huge relief for everyone involved, given the success they've seen over the last 18 months.
It's young people. You can't just say that, well, funding has ceased, this is the end of the program. It is very difficult to put the program together, and when the program is up and running, if you tell the community or the parents and the young people that we are stopping here, it's always bring a lot of anxiety.
I'm looking forward to seeing the outcomes as they continue to grow. So the data now is good. but in 5-6 years' time, that will have great carriage for us.
The school says the mentors are having a big impact on the students and their teachers.
The opportunities for the young people to have access to the mentors in different mediums. So having those frequent and diverse touch points is a really good opportunity for what I guess the mentors are imparting on the young people to stick.
They say hard work beats talent.
There doesn't seem to be a shortage of either.
All they need is an opportunity to be supported or someone to give them a helping hand. That's what we try to do.
Natalie Whiting, ABC News, Springvale.
So this program was actually designed by the community and really was based on the program, on the community's priorities. There was a 3-stage design process where we used lots of different creative and narrative methods for storytelling with the community. And then the program, as it was created, was rolled out and implemented in 2 schools, Cranbourne Carlisle Primary School, as well as Narre Warren P12. And there was also a community-based version of the program that ran on Sunday afternoons as well. The evaluation, we actually talked to about 69 different community members, ranging from teachers to the mentors, to the young people, as well as the mamas who were involved in the program's design, just to get a sense of what the impact of the program was. And I'll pass over to Sarah to talk about some of those learnings of the impact of the program.
That video was so heartwarming. It was so lovely to see Abraham and Fraser and Selba and Kudzai in their glory. For those of you who don't know, those media coverages are so hard to attain, and having hundreds of thousands of views across the nation is really just a great impact in terms of counter narratives of young people entering the justice system. So I'm excited to talk about the impacts of the project very briefly as the last speaker, following the co-design process with Vic Health, Afri-Aus Care and RMIT to evaluate the sports-based youth development program. So some of the findings in summary were that young people are proud of their community, their culture, their family, and the benefits are promoting a positive and healthy lifestyle to reduce isolation, offering comprehensive and wraparound support. But I love storytelling, and I kind of wanted to finish on the last slide. You can read the report to find these amazing impacts in more detail. I captured a picture of Selba with one of our RMIT colleagues and some of the mamas. Selba's about to shoot the basketball. It was such a beautiful experience going along to Afri-Aus Care on Sundays and experiencing this in action with the mamas coming early to prepare meals, the children running around, and mentors both from South Sudan and other African backgrounds, but also the broader community. So if we finish up on the final slide, I have been to South Sudan probably on 3 occasions, and in South Sudan there's a lot of tukels or huts, a community where you can have this modeled in real life, this community. But in Australia it's very hard when you're isolated in different houses and different communities. So I really saw in finishing up the Ubuntu way of life coming together at Afri-Aus Care. And the last story I wanted to tell, there's a picture here of Rita, one of the mamas. And I know Rita from the community. Rita used to run a project called Daughters of Jerusalem, where they were supported to wear high-vis vests and go out at night to train stations. I'm so glad Rita found Selba and Afri-Aus Care, because this community vibe and intergenerational approach with culture responsive mentors and intergenerational impacts is just fantastic. So it seems like we're about to get to question time, but from RMIT, we're just so proud to be a part of this project, and you can see us wearing our jerseys that we were gifted so proudly. So thanks, everyone.
Thank you so much, everyone. That was so fantastic. And it seems as though this program has just really hit the nail on the head in terms of connection. I mean, Abraham, you said in that video, like, connection is key to building well-being and that sense of belonging and community and those networks of support. And it just seems like this program has nailed it. And in the process, always consulted things like co-design and come back to the population that it's serving always, which is really, really great to see. I have my first question, I think, is probably about the kind of critical features that you've found that have been integral to the success of the program that others might be able to use to action some of the principles of it. I suppose about the learnings and the challenges and how you overcame them in the formation of the program. Can someone speak to that, do you think?
Yeah, so what I'll do is I'll pop back up our learnings slide, and perhaps Sarah, would you like to go into a little bit more detail there?
Before Sarah Williams comes off mute, sorry, I just disabled your sharing.
Oh, that's okay. Would you like me to reshare the screen?
Yeah, sorry about that.
That's fine.
Thanks, Catherine. Did you mind quickly restating the question?
Yeah. So interested in the critical features to the success of the program. So about the learnings, but also about the challenges, and maybe some things that others might be able to take away in action.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I would love Abraham potentially to comment as well. But I think people have mentioned in the chat, there's a lot of deficit discourses that are around and often portrayed in media and moral panics. And you can just see from that video and Afri-Aus Care's leadership, this is the opposite, very considered approaches to intergenerational social change, to the use of culture responsive mentoring, as I mentioned, and through strengthened relationships. In terms of at the schools, I didn't comment, but one of the arts-based methodologies that we kind of used was highly consulted with Afri-Aus Care in terms of, as researchers, there was a lot of concern that we weren't just coming to abstract knowledge or take knowledge, but this was a co-design process. So there was a picture of just some of the arts-based methods where young people drew. I really like maths now. And I saw that in practice when I was going along. The one on the bottom left, the mentors were there as really people who they looked up to from the community, and spending that time on a Sunday to take the time to explain concepts and methods really just makes all the difference. So I think finishing up at the schools, this was really demonstrated by better outcomes at schools. So those critical methods are really important of co-design and the community coming up with the engagement strategy.
Yeah.
And just to add to that really briefly, I think the importance of a project like this was bringing together different systems, but making sure that we brought the different systems together in a way where we emphasize relationship building. So we built really positive relationships with RMIT. We built really positive relationships with Vic Health as well, which is the body that funded this. But this allowed us to increase the capacity but also the impact of the project. If we were delivering this project alone, it would have been delivered in isolation, but working with a research institution, working with Vic Health, and making sure that the community felt heard and valued really led to the positive impacts and outcomes that we've seen in this project.
Yeah, so really bringing it back to kind of collaborating, like collaborative mechanisms. So it's kind of a holistic approach. So nowhere kind of falls through the gaps. And yeah, as you said, Sarah, like using culture as strength, I think, is something that really rings true through this program. Yeah, so cool. I had another question as well, just about how you got the word out to the young people and their families. Like how did you connect? How did you bring them into the fold, I guess?
I think it's an existing relationship that Afri-Aus Care already had with the young people and the families, but also encouraging the families to extend that invite out to other families. I mean, a lot of the community members are isolated, so the word of mouth is really the strongest tool that they used when engaging in different programs and different services. If one mother finds a program to be beneficial, she'll tell one of her friends and she'll engage. That means that young people engage. But it's also in creating that environment where they felt comfortable enough to extend that invitation out to other people. It's the same thing that we did with the research as well.
Yeah.
Can I just add something as well? Because we work following the Ubuntu principles, and they apply to, I would say, all African countries, yeah, and even anywhere else in the world. It's about seeing yourself in another person. So these moms now, instead of concentrating on intergenerational conflict, they start telling stories, yeah, to their children, and they see it in other families. So it's like a pattern has been formed and they keep on following. So there is a true connection of these mothers, grandmothers, and the children, and it's just bringing the families together, apart from the kids now learning in school. And what I have also found is after basketball, they will be more active, endorphins in their brain, and then they will quickly work in school and they will eat and start connecting with other kids as well. So it's intercultural, it's interconnection. It's just so beautiful.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to end the question time as well, about the Ubuntu being such a beautiful concept of, I am because we or you are. It's that power of connection and bringing people together in a way that's positive and harnesses the strength and power of all program members, I guess. But yeah, really, really cool. Some great learnings and a great program all in all. But we are out of time, so I'll have to move on to the next presentation. Thank you so much for that. That was really great. Loved hearing about it.